Okay, let me report our status. Jimmy focus fixing issue Earthpatchet version 1.1. He 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 is starting on his local and it work. Not sure why it had issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I think we need to compare code in his local and Lucent Lucent VN. Can you are you deploy Lucent related code in Lucent VN?
Yes, because that's the one that you I merged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, Lucent. Wait. Apa jasa?
Dạ.
Wait 1 minute. I'm pulling code from Lucent VN.
Okay.
Aperture.
383.
Để coi.
Có rồi.
Ừ.
Tại sao nhỉ? Em test trên local nó quất rồi. Nó không hiểu sao trên
Ok, sẽ check sao.
Em biết nguyên nhân rồi.
Ok. We find root cause of this issue. We will check and fix it.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, never mind. Continue first.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm review code of recycle bottle for Singapore and compare why they had an issue. So
bắt đầu làm authentication như là đã thảo luận. Em thảo luận với Jin từ chiều hôm thứ bảy rồi, từ hôm thứ sáu rồi.
Okay.
Lâu nó sẽ đi. Bắt đầu là cái authentication như đã thảo luận với mày vào chiều thứ sáu.
Yeah. So robot is working on authentication flow, and he just draw flow. I can share you now. Oh, yeah.
Put luôn ở cái đấy.
Đây. Chú ẩn sâu không cần. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Oh. Kích vào đây. Khoan kích vào đây. Đây này. Kích vào đây. Rồi.
Hello, Jin.
Yep.
You can see the authentication flows I and you had discussed on Friday afternoon. With customer
as nowhere e-commerce. Hello?
Mm.
We customer when log into NX service, we will pass on the request mapping login flash customer with username and password. NX service will validate username and password and login name and login password from customer table. If it's success, NX service will return an JWT with member to e-commerce. And on the e-commerce side, I think it need to manually attack the JWT to header. I try to figure out how to attack it, how to attack it on header from e-commerce side, but it's only do if we use on the same session, and I think it's impossible.
So we can't test in Postman.
Yeah. In Spotman, after run a login API, it will return Zidality, and
Okay.
we need to do manually is create an param authentication on header and paste this Zidality to
Okay.
yeah.
You want to continue or I ask question?
Okay. After receiving Zidality from an exhibit, the next request from customer will send will send witness Zidality attacks on the header, and as we discussed before, customer only have right to retrieve data. So it's I think it will only allow forget method from an exhibit after receive request from customer. Exhibit will validate ZWT using secret key, and if it's validate if it valid, NX will process request and respond to customer.
Okay.
Okay, with employee, it's do the same step with customer. The different is X service will validate on employee table and depends on employee send email or phone to check on employee table with email, phone, and password. And after that, NX service will return ZWT with admin role. And with admin role, I think it will have a full rights as CIUD, include get, post, put, and etc methods.
Okay.
Do you have any question?
Yes, I have. Sorry if I miss out anything because okay, let's say for customer login, right?
Yeah.
How do you authenticate the request? Because does it mean that anyone can just call login customer with username and password?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's some misconception because every API we need to validate that request is authenticated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened? Okay, for example, for the country one, you see that every request we need a token.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it comes to this, so I thought that there will be an initial there's another layer of authentication for the e-commerce to call. You get what I mean? Because now that means you are saying that anyone without any authenticator, as long as I know the endpoint, I just call in/customer.
Yeah.
So I think that's the part that I thought is the employee authentication. So when you talk about employee and authentication, actually we don't need I'm not sure if is understanding it incorrect because there's only one login API. This login API is the customer login API. But when I was talking about employee, I thought that you are using the employee to authenticate the token or the request. You get what I mean? Because
Yeah.
there's two layers. One is you authenticate the request, whether is authentic, whether it has the correct role, correct scope, etc. So this login API, customer login API, is more on the logic part. It's very simple. You just need to check whether the parameter passed in for this customer is correct. But if you want to return a JWT, also okay. That means if you are saying that if e-commerce wants to request any information on this customer, they pass you the JWT. All right.
Yeah.
So they don't need to pass you the CRM ID really. Is it correct? Because JWT will include the CRM ID?
I don't know,
Oh,
but maybe customer can get some if 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 customer only get its own ID, data from edX service, so it's do not need CRM ID.
mm, yeah. So it depends how you plan it. If you're saying that yes, customer can only request their own data is correct.
Yeah.
But there is the part that how you authenticate the e-commerce. So now let's say e-commerce Singapore wants to integrate with NX.
Yeah.
Yeah, then maybe let's say Facebook wants to integrate with NX. So how do you authenticate that this Facebook request is okay, can access this brand, and then
Yeah.
this e-commerce you need to authenticate. Oh, this is e-commerce. I have your record, and yes, you can access. But if let's say now Eugene want to manually call, he say, "Hey, no, you are not authenticated. You cannot call API." So this the main authentication part that I'm confused.
Okay.
You get what I mean, right? Because as a let's say I'm in commerce, so I may call a lot API. I call find customer, I call get customer, I call login customer, I can call get purchase customer, but get purchase I can call. There's a lot of API I can call. That means all those NX provided I can call. But how you authenticate my call, and it is depends how you want to structure it lah. So I'm not sure you are doing 2 layer of authentication, or you are going to change to just one. I'm not sure. But you get what I mean. Because now your customer, from my understanding, is the end user. That means the people who use the computer, they log in. But actually they go through e-commerce. E-commerce is the one that call NX.
Yeah.
Mm.
With customer, we will restrict its permission to some API. Don't it's not on get method. We will restrict some method that customer can call. I think it will be okay.
Okay. What I mean is how do I put it? Okay, let's say you are the customer, so
Yeah.
you call login with your username password to NX.
Yeah.
Yep. So how do you uh let me think because the idea is how do you authenticate the request is legit. So I can call, I will call, let's say I go to Postman, I put login customer, I put Robert, test 1, 2, 3, then country code, brand code, I call. Then this same request, I can pass to anyone, they can call, so they can call 100 times, 1,000 times. So how do you authenticate it? You can only accept this application. You know what I mean?
Cái gì? In what?
Chưa hiểu. Em chưa hiểu lắm.
Các bạn mình
Login thì login mình verify thì mình mới cấp cần mà.
Đúng rồi. Thì ý nó hỏi là authenticate.
You mean send 100 or 1,000 login request on same time?
No, that's separate. As in, how do you authenticate that this request is legit, is correct? That means okay. So let's say not login. Let's say we have this find customer API, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how we cannot let everyone to access the API. They need to be authenticated.
Okay.
So e-commerce, okay, this find customer is not used by customer, it's used by the e-commerce itself. So let's say e-commerce wants to find customer with mobile number 1, 2, 3. So he call and next to find mobile 1, 2, 3. So we need to authenticate that the request coming in is from e-commerce with the correct, I don't know, token or login or use or you log in password.
Yeah.
Yep. Because if not,
Yeah.
that means that anyone can just call find customer, then your NX will be overloaded because there may be some hacker also trying to call find customer. You get what I mean?
Yes. Any service will, as you can see here, any service will validate ZWT. And with
Yeah, but how
when
do you know how? Okay, how now let's say now e-commerce wants to execute find customer API. What is the step?
yeah,
Because they don't
the
have
first step,
they don't have customer data.
yeah, on the ZWT, it will contain customer data. On payload, it
Yeah, but
will
the
have some
request.
information.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, how about the request? So now I want to call find NX slash blah 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 slash find customer.
Okay.
Okay. So
Find
let's say
customer with
yeah,
CIMD
yeah.
on the normal way with
Let's say
CIMD.
find customer by we have one API called find customer, right? We pass in the
Yeah.
first name, last name, or any mobile. So yeah. So let's say I call this request. Do I need to pass in any token or any authentication? Because at this level, I don't have login because I'm a e-commerce. I don't have, there's nobody log in. It's just the system wants to find wants to call this API.
Nó phải login nó mới tìm được. Phải login mình có được code API đấy. Nếu không tại mỗi lần request là phải.
You mean we have login before?
Yeah, so if you're saying that there's a login before, so you want e-commerce to log in first, is it?
Yes.
Okay, then that does it mean that that's the part that how they log in, because it's not customer, because customer table is the actual customer, it's not the system. So how are you going to store the system record, the system user, I don't know what you call it, the user record. So for example, the country one, we store it in the OAuth user, the OAuth user. So from there, then we generate token, blah 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 blah. So only when you have, for this is for the existing one, you may not do the same, but I just saying example, existing one, let's say HIP needs to call get token with the client credential. That means it's a key and secret. Then he will get a token. Then we will return a token. So they will use this token to call the API. So it's similar to your this. So that means you are saying that they log for, it's just that it's not in customer. So they have to log in first. Then you have to respond back with the JWT. So every request you need to pass this JWT. Then you authenticate this JWT, right? Yeah. So the how do I say, the component is correct, but it's not what I'm saying that it's not customer, because in CRM the customer table stores the actual customer, like the people who buy things, those end user. So I'm not sure, are you going to use the employee instead? But from OAuth 2 there's a few flow lah. Let's you have read about, there's OAuth token, there's implicit, there's client credential. So see which one are you using. Let me find
Cảm ơn vì cái vấn đề gì? Tí bên nghe lại. Anh cũng gọi tại anh không nghe từ đầu. Thực ra có gì đâu, mình phải verify mỗi lần. Logic là mình phải xác thực cái token trong cái URL là mình truy cập một tài nguyên.
Không hiểu ý muốn hỏi gì lắm. Hình như ý muốn hỏi là cái việc mà cái customer ở bên e-commerce với customer ở bên này nó khác nhau. Thế làm sao mà authent được?
Nếu mà khác nhau thì login vào là đã không login được.
Đúng rồi.
Chứ là gì lại để được log out organization.
Đang tìm cái gì đấy? chat dễ hiểu hơn. Thật. Anh chat
mình có thời gian mình suy nghĩ.
đây mình còn hiểu chứ còn nghe này mình không nghe được hết. Bảo
Chú
nó chat đi.
chú ấy chưa, chú tắt lại cái tắt cái tắt. Bảo đi.
Bao nhiêu nào?
Nó đang bảo làm gì nhỉ? Hello Jin.
Yep.
So I think you can discuss more detail with Robert after meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, because actually maybe we cannot understand understand whole content you say. So if we chat, we can describe more detail and clearly.
Okay.
Yeah. So and Jim and I will focus fishing back today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the get date change, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Just a question because I was checking the code. There's a common method, right? Uh, how do you know what is the current? Okay, how do I put it? I saw you use the Java get date, Java new date to convert based on the time zone ID.
Yes.
Okay, so just one problem is, what if the database and the Tomcat server is a different time zone? You get what I mean? So let's say, okay, now the Tomcat server and the database server is in Singapore. For let's say for Thailand, the Tomcat server and the database server is in the same time zone, Singapore +8. So when you do when in the Java code you use a new date and then you convert to time with time zone ID Thailand, that means +8, then change to +7, then it's correct. That means when you go to the database, it's also correct because it happens that database is and Tomcat is the same time zone. Okay, you get what I mean? So if let's say now Tomcat is in let's say uh Australia time, but the database somehow is Singapore time, then your date time will be wrong. Is it correct?
Jin?
Yes.
Yeah, actually we get new date on Java, but with the time zone setting on config file. I think it's same with the database. Time zone.
Same as database time zone. Huh? But the time zone, you are using time zone ID config
Không cái
or separate config.
Let me check.
Mm.
Ở trong function. Đâu? New date. Đây, log off. Set time zone này. Time zone, yeah, time zone ID này đâu ra? Đấy nhá, đúng mà. mà nó đang hỏi ở bên NX hay là bên
Thật ra mình new date ở đâu cũng được mà anh.
Hi Jim.
Yep.
I've checked and I see that we get the new date, but it's mean current time. But with the time zone ID is set on config file.
But the time zone ID is the end result that we want, right?
Yeah.
Yep. But how do you know so when you get date okay, let's say now the Tomcat server and the database server is in different time zone.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the end result is the end goal of the time zone ID is also different. Will there be issue? So let's say now the Tomcat server is +7. The database server is +8. But the end result it should be +10.
Tại vì khi mình new date nó không quan trọng là new ở đâu anh ạ, thì nó vẫn là cái thời điểm hiện tại cái thời điểm mình new ấy. Xong rồi khi mà mình convert thì mình convert về config như yêu cầu.
Đúng rồi, anh hiểu ý của chú, nhưng mà tại vì anh không anh chưa chuẩn bị nên không giải thích được trong cái trường hợp này.
Anh Robert nói.
Sorry, but I think database time zone with time zone ID config on config file is the same.
Không phải same anh ạ, mà là lấy theo config.
Okay, okay, for example, now the Tomcat server is +7.
Okay.
Okay, database server is +8. Okay, but actually it's meant for Australia brand, so Australia is +10, right? So my time zone ID, what should I put? I should put the +10, right?
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so now when you convert, okay, you can correct me if I'm wrong, okay? So let's say if you convert new date, you will get the +7.
Yeah.
Then you convert to +10.
Yes.
Okay, so then when you save.
Okay. I understand. So I think we need a more config for
you need another
for database time zone ID.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright. Okay. Now there's no issue lah, because now it happens that Tomcat and database is the same.
Okay. Okay, but I think it's necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we will add more config. Anything else?
Nope, no more for me.
Okay, so
wait. Trong the version 2 schedule how?
Version 2.
Nó phải là anh đã scan cái version 2 chưa?
Scan gì?
Scan giờ đã lên lịch chưa?
Rồi.
Lên rồi nhưng mà chưa chi tiết.
Mình anh bảo nó đi.
Lên rồi lại.
Chung is planned for it, but it's not yet detailed.
Okay, maybe you can share first.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
maybe this afternoon he will show you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
With
you.
authentication, if
Yep.
yeah, you can chat for me.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.